All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to our regular city council meeting, Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. Tonight we'll begin with opening remarks from Tricia Thomas, and then the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Trevor Elliott.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that we can gather here together as members of a community and be able to make decisions that will help influence and better our community. We are grateful for all the wonderful blessings that we enjoy, and we are grateful that we live in such a beautiful place. We pray that we will have Thy Spirit to be with us, and that we will be mindful of all of the wonderful blessings we have in our lives, and say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Will the audience please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. I need a motion to approve the agenda and time frame.
So stated.
What's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, roll call. We'll start with Paul.
Paul Crook.
Tricia Thomas.
Ty Ellis.
Nelson Abbott.
Jared Peterson.
Jim Chase.
Thank you. Royce, do we have public comment?
We do Kirk Middleman.
Okay, let me just set the guidelines, make sure everybody knows it's a couple of minutes, and make your comments in the form of a statement, so that if there's other discussions that need to have, you can have with the council person afterwards. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start on behalf of the neighborhood. My name's Kirk Middleman. I live on Elkhorn Drive. And you guys did a great job, or somebody did, paving down Goose Nest. The only problem is you took out the speed bumps. I don't know if you're aware of that or what the plan is to fix that. And then you also left about a 4 to 6 inch raised area coming off of Elkhorn. My car won't clear it without scraping coming off of Elkhorn onto the main road. I noticed at Elkhorn Drive, or the old Elk Ridge Drive, they did a great transition there for the main road, but they didn't, it's as though they didn't think anybody lived on Elkhorn Drive that actually paid taxes for those roads. So I'm just curious as to how we're gonna take care of this. A couple of my neighbors probably want to speak as well, but they've been left with 6 to 8 inches of asphalt height all the way down Goose Nest.
I think our public works director just got the word, and so he'll look into that.
All right.
Yeah. You aware of that?
I found out today about Elkhorn Drive.
Okay.
He knows what I
All right,
tried.
anyway. All right, next, Royce?
Sean Martin.
Yeah.
Kind of the same sentiment. I love the road, looks great. Just when you go out of my driveway, it's an uphill, and then I have to do an 8-inch jump to get onto the road. I mean, it's tall. I talked to the public works director, and he stated that that's kind of my, I have to fix that myself because it's a private driveway. I'm wondering, because he said that they'd probably come out and fix Elkhorn Drive, if when they're out, if we can make some kind of deal where they'll come and smooth that off a little bit, so it's not such a
You work with
dramatic
that?
jump.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Anything else?
Bill or Doris Miller.
Okay, so I live next to Sean, we have the same issues. And we were between the speed bumps when we moved in 3.5 years ago, and I had 15 grandkids, so that made it a little bit safer. I don't let them play in the front, but we're getting in and out of cars. So if they put the stop sign back in, or they put one of the signs that says you're going this fast and this is what the speed limit is, or the city, I called about the speed bumps and they said there's no plan to do anything about the speed bumps. That's what the city told me like 2 days ago. So those are other options if they can't do that, because people are like really going 50 and 60 down the road all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Royce? Okay, so,
And we have Deputy Doyle here too. We could.
yeah, deputy's hearing it too, so, and we need to get those speed, I don't know,
The speed signs.
speed signs, because we have allocated funds for some of those.
Was that where we were putting one?
Well, let's discuss it and see where else we need it, because we've got demands in the city.
And Wilford County.
So thank you for your input, so that we are aware of the situation. Appreciate that very much, and we'll work with you on that. All right, item number one is we got a legal presentation by Trevor Elliott. You're on, buddy.
Sweet. Hi, I'm Trevor, like I said. So for my new project, I'm planning on going through City of Elk Ridge and documenting all these, where the street signs are, what conditions they're in, and when or if we need to replace them. So I'm gonna get some volunteers. We don't need any funding because we're just using pencil and paper and like we're gonna use a mapping software. But we would like some reflective vests from the city, so because we're gonna be working on the side of the road and wouldn't like to be hit. Cause yeah, that'd be yeah. And then yeah, so just documenting the street signs and seeing if we need to replace them or not.
Do you know how many people you think it's going to take?
Maybe like 10, maybe.
Okay. And then and then you're going to give us a report on the age of the condition of the signs and
Yeah,
the ones
like
we recognize
some of
should
them
be
are like
replaced.
really bad and like usually they're supposed to be really reflective.
Mhm.
So at night if you can't see, their headlights will like reflect them. Like a lot of them have lost their reflectivity and you can't see it.
So this will be night work.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So you can like tell them they're reflective.
So you
or
can
not.
see the reflectivity?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Any questions?
We have some of us.
Yeah, we should
How many
They say
signs do you
Walmart on
have
them.
at their
Well,
wall?
From the fire, remember?
I thought we had a
I
bunch
got a
of.
ton
We're all
of them.
volunteers.
Oh, I don't
have
care.
those.
No, I think they're actually out fires.
Well, that sounds like it's a project that would help our city out to know where we are on street signs,
Right.
right?
Maybe we can go through that, once you're done with it, as I read through that, it sounds like you're gonna kind of prioritize, like, these are ones that need to be replaced yesterday, these are ones that can be replaced in a year, 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah.
kinda. So we can
Yeah.
start putting together a game plan and,
Yeah.
cause I know it's a lot of work, cause your dad put all of them up,
Yeah.
except for the new growth area, and it took him a while,
Yeah.
A lot of work.
so.
Great. Any other questions? I'd say we ought to move on approving the Eagle project for Trevor. Somebody wants to make that motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve Trevor Elliott's Eagle project as presented.
Okay. And Jim seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, fantastic. Look to working with you.
Sweet.
Super,
Thank you.
super, super. Item number 2 is we want to have a quick motion on Jake Clark, Legal Project, which was the book, the library.
Oh, yeah.
And he asked for $0, as with Trevor, and then with Hank, remember, he asked for 100. So if we could get 2 motions, one for Jake and then the one for Trevor, or sorry, the one for Hank, where you will authorize $100 expenditure for that. So anybody inclined to move on that?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve Jay Clark's Eagle project as presented to us last week, or 2 weeks ago.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And now Hank Bradford.
I'll make a motion to approve Hank Bradford's Eagle project as presented last time with $100 fund approval.
Okay, got a motion? Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great, fantastic, thank you. Looking forward to having some good information back there. Oh, then we got to figure out how to buy the signs. All right. So I'll have a real quick update on, just pass this around, where we're at on the NRCS stuff. Gonna give you guys this timeline, and you'll understand why I'm giving you this timeline. So we met last week, and last week's really we got all the agreements signed by the county and the NRCS and the funding, and everything's all in place. Things are now moving forward with the project, in that they have been able to now contract with the engineering firms. There's 2 of them. We will meet with our engineering firm Thursday, right? to kind of get things going. It's a 30-minute, we're on yours, we're on it kind of thing. And hopefully we can set some plans forward at that point in time. This could be more meaningful. But we'll meet that next Thursday. So on this thing, you'll see that they've got the engineering selection done. I had to sign an agreement that says, yes, we're going to participate with one of the engineering firms to come in and start doing the design work, right? So that's all done. I think our next, after this engineering review tomorrow, the next big thing in my mind is going to be some kind of a preliminary design. Obviously, there's going to be work that goes on in the field, I'm sure, of some type. But we need to get that preliminary design because at some point in time, we've got to get with the residents to look over the preliminary design so they get an idea of what scope we're talking about, right? The size of trenches, and the materials and all that, so they get an understanding of what this monster looks like. And then get their feedback in at that point in time. And then once we have an understanding of that, we can start talking about easements that aren't there, that are there, how much bigger we'd have to go, and then the discussion becomes, how are we gonna obtain those easements? Are you gonna spend money to get it, city money to buy those easements, or what? So if there is any public funding that's required to get the easement, we'll have to go into a public hearing for that, and then you're gonna have to appropriate the funds to purchase those easements, right? So that middle bullet right there, get your brain around, because you're gonna have to make a vote on whether we do that or not, if there's a funding that's gonna be required. Once we get there, we get or purchase or we make agreements for the easements, that's fine, then we get the final design at some point from the engineering firm. This is gonna go pretty quick, I think, because I believe there've already been quite a bit of work that they've already done up in this area. So I hope this goes pretty quick. We're already 27 days now, 25 days into the 220 days that they gave us to finish the whole project. So they want to go fast, and that's great. Final design will come within 14 days of the final design. We have to accept or reject the engineering final design. So that's not very long, 14 days. So somewhere along there, right after final, I want a resolution from the council that basically states that we will accept that final design before those 14 days. So I don't know when that's going to happen. And then once we get into that, then we'll go through the RFP process. We have to have a contractor. We got to select a contractor, or we can go with the county and kind of piggyback off of the county's selection process, which might not be a bad idea. It might help us out and get it done quicker, right? We go through the RFP, we're gonna have that come back, give us some kind of a pricing. They're allocated, Elkridge is allocated $1 million, just over $1 million, right? For what?
Two projects.
For two projects. Our total lump sum is $1 million, which is over $1 million. Of the $1 million, 25% is match, and of the 25%, the county picks up a large, so that'd be what, 250,000. The county's actually going to pick up around 200K. So that leaves our city going to be roughly around 54K, I think was the number, for the match, right? So that's pretty stinking good, just between you and I. That's amazing.
So we can put that on the list that we're gonna give to the state.
What's that?
We'll put that on our list. That we're gonna give to Mark Roberts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yes.
put it on there.
Yeah. Not to tell you.
We got a 50%
I'll have to tell
chance
you
of
the
getting
conversation with Spencer Cox I had, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I want you to just recognize, the only point of me bringing this up is really to get you guys starting to get seriously engaged, because you're gonna have some fund appropriation discussions and here, public hearings, and a resolution to accept that final design. That's coming up, and I think it's gonna come at us really fast once they get chugging along in here. So we may have to have some special meetings rather than wait the two-week period. So
Yeah.
what I would suggest is that you become familiar with what's going on, seriously familiar with what's going to happen down there, where the residents are. They've got to be united. Doesn't make any sense to do the top half of the project, the bottom half of the project, and nothing in between, right? So get aligned with what's going on with the residents, and you gotta you'll be making some important votes. Okay, any questions on it? Okay, so reach out.
And the city is
Reach out.
responsible for fronting, in addition to the match, we front the money.
Oh, yes, Royce?
So
He told me that
Two
earlier.
hundred and fifty and then.
$1 million.
Yeah, so they're gonna be, if there's four payments, right, if they break it up into 4 payments, we have to fund $250,000, and then they reimburse us within some 60 days or something. So we'll at least have to have another public hearing and vote on funding that, cash flowing that process.
And the millions coming from the federal government, so if they shut down during this process, then we could. really-
Well,
Knock on wood right now.
No, it's all in an account.
it's already,
It's all-
It's already appropriate.
Okay, I just wanted to know what our exposure was.
it's in an account.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means when they say that,
Yeah.
but they waited for that to happen, right? So that's where we are.
So we'll get really good at submitting reimbursements.
Royce will.
Yeah. So that's coming up. Now, my idea, just to be honest with you, is I'd like to actually have that vote done before or at roughly the same time we do the RFP, so that we can have that in place up to the funding match. So if we're willing to spend $54K, the $250,000 cash flow, that's not worrying me so much. I mean, it is, because we've got to have the money, but it's all reimbursed, right? The $54,000, right? But if we could get that approved early on and say, we'll fund this at $54,000 match, right? Up to that amount, and get that on the books, so that when the RFPs come in and whatnot, right? And we can start engaging quickly on this as we can, because we only got the 220 days, although I think we're gonna try for an extension, but does that make sense? That's kind of up to you. We got a little bit of time, so think about how you'd like to go about doing that to facilitate this process moving forward as quickly as possible. Okay? Any other questions on that? Great. All right, temporary use decision. And by the way, I know the residents would like to talk to some council members, so down in Canyon. So like, you just kind of make sure you're listening to them and understand the situation. Okay. Temporary use.
So I got this back, and there's some changes that were done, or something, from when I submitted. Some small, there's 2 sentences that are different. And I didn't know if zoning had changed it, or, you know, Laura?
They didn't change anything, just.
Okay, so everything pretty much stayed the same, except for if you go to the second to last page, number 7. Okay, is not prohibited or specifically called out in another section of code, of Elk City Code as, and then I had restricted or not permitted.
Oh,
So that's been pulled out.
because as not permitted doesn't make sense.
No, as not permitted. Yeah, so I had restricted or not permitted. So they pulled out restricted or. And then I had, in one, well, I guess it's section, the new one, right, second, 3 paragraphs down, right, you got the city council, or the city administration, and then they crossed everything out, but it said, the city administration, if deemed necessary, may require public comment and city council approval. And the reason I added that was because it gives the city administration maybe an out to the city council for a really difficult one.
Wait, on
Or
which,
something.
where is that?
It's on the new one, so that one whole paragraph has been
City
crossed out under E. Right at the bottom, it says city administration, and then see how the rest of it's all crossed out? I had the city administration, if deemed necessary, may require public comment and city council approval. So if they get a really difficult application, something that's, they're struggling on or something, they could push it to public
On us.
comment
Yeah.
and the city council. I had that as an option. So those are the only two things that I noticed were different. I don't know if it just, by the time you sent it back and forth, those just dropped or what. But the rest of it was how I submitted it, or how we saw it last time too.
Is that the same sentence with the bond? If that's crossed out, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, there was another, there might have been with the bond, but it's stated elsewhere, so I didn't.
The bond in here is crossed out.
So do you want to table this and get it
um,
tweaked out for the next?
Well, or
We need
I
to
could
do
say
We
that.
would just,
say
let
this
that
is
just,
it.
we just modify it and
Okay,
approve it as
If everybody's
modified.
okay with it.
yeah,
So the bond actually is listed out, I think, in another spot,
let me see it.
and it's also on the application. So there's also an application that goes with this that can be modified, you know, city administration can modify it.
Okay.
So,
Number 4.
Item
Yeah,
D7 and E1.
yeah, number 4, it was stated elsewhere, some of the bond,
D4.
yeah. And potential bonding, so,
Just the person that makes the motion to be very specific on the changes.
Yes.
That means Jared needs to make a motion.
See this draft here.
Or it's going to come back
This
anyway.
here is.
Is it?
Yeah.
One sentence.
so that's how it read before it got sent over.
I don't know, we can just give
So
them
they
Jared's
drop
copy right there.
this out.
Well, that's what we'll have to do.
Yeah, can you rewrite it? Oh, wait, are you?
But what we posted on the website, we need to make sure what we posted, the changes reflect, so that's why you need to be specific.
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys okay with the rest of it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I think it'll be great, it's just when we make a time too.
Okay, well, I propose that we accept the changes to ordinance number 19-07
Seven.
with the changes in line number D7, adding restricted or, and E1, the city administration, if deemed necessary, may require public comment and city approval.
Second.
With text available
I'll give this to Laura from,
from you. What's your name?
Jared.
Jared.
Do you have too much night in your system?
Okay, are you all right with that?
Yes.
We have the text, so. Okay, so we have a motion, we need to have a second.
I second.
You have a second. Who seconds it?
I did.
Okay,
Earlier.
then we need to
Yeah.
go around on this one. So Paul, we'll start with you.
Aye.
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 Okay, passes unanimously. That's good, clean that up. Hopefully that works out better for us, Royce.
I hope so.
All right, we have durability acceptance, release of durability acceptance in the city from Harrison Heights Phase 10. And for that matter, Elkridge Meadows Phase 10. Two separate motions, but, and here's the, I don't know if you want to look at the actual letters that were standard stuff from Dave. You're good with that?
Any problems?
A-OK, check it out.
Even the slurry, we had problems with it, they fixed the stuff that
They
I
did.
wanted them to fix, and
What about the drainage problem from the upper houses?
so that doesn't
That
have anything to do with
doesn't even
the
matter. That's nothing,
infrastructure,
you're right.
Yeah,
Is this the last thing they have in the city and then they're done?
no, this is Arrive, they have a couple others,
Well, no, not Arrive, I'm sorry. What about,
Person
no, Oak Ridge Meadows?
that's Arrive also,
That is?
Everything was right.
very close.
I don't know what it is. Okay. I make a motion that we accept Harrison Heights Phase 10, release durability and accept into the city, Harrison Heights Phase 10.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
And we have a motion and a second on Harrison Heights. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Elk Ridge Meadows, Phase 10.
I'll move that Elk Ridge Meadows Phase 10 release durability and accept it in the city.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'm just thinking through that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's see.
It's a rough go today.
I want to come back and I want to have a discussion after we've done the 7 on that durability and acceptance into the city thing. Just a second. Okay, approval of city minutes.
I had a question on one. On page 4, it says approval of city council minutes from August 27th, 2019. There's 4 ayes and no nays, and I don't know who abstained.
You did.
I did?
You did.
Yeah.
Doesn't it,
Did
it
you
says
work
under
there?
I was there on the 27th.
Huh?
I abstained on the next one, on the 10th,
Oh, okay.
but I was there on the 27th.
So you're saying that should be 5 ayes, not 4?
I think so, or was someone else gone? That's what I couldn't remember.
No, there's
No,
not
'cause
been
there's 5
anybody
on everything
gone.
else. No, yeah, I was there on that one, so it should say 5 ayes, right?
Yeah, that's it, you were absent here.
Yeah, because I abstained from the 10th.
So on that same page on line 101, you need to correct the spelling of council. You need to throw a C in there
Oh,
between
yeah.
N and I.
And I did not even see that. Oh, yeah, minutes. My nights.
Yeah.
How many ayes?
What line is that?
Line 101.
Okay.
Okay,
It happens to the rest of us.
ready to make a motion? Right?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for September 24th, 2019 with noted corrections.
I'll second that.
And Nelson seconds that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. So let me ask you a question, Dave, on the, use durability and acceptance into there. That's a 1-year period. Pretty frustrating when 1 year goes by and then all of a sudden something starts to fall stinking apart.
And I've talked to Royce about this, and we found out that the 1-year thing is a state.
It is,
State?
it is a state statute, and our former state representative, Mike Morley, pushed that through, and I had a
Was he in
really...
development?
And anyway, so I had a rather lengthy conversation about it with him when he was still our state representative prior to Mark Roberts. And what he told me at that point in time is the only out we have is we can grant an exception to that and extend it 6 months if it's due to extreme circumstances like a really crazy long winter or
Or we've identified something.
something like that. Then we can add 6 more months onto that, but that's the only time that we can do it.
So all they gotta do is come in here and get by 1 stinking year, and then we are left with all the potholes, sinkholes, and everything that falls apart.
We've been having a lot of them.
Yep.
And we've been having a lot of them.
Okay, but when they're building again in the city,
There's we have to catch it in that window if we want to
no,
go
I
against
know,
that.
but why don't we say to them, hey, if you're gonna do work like this, we're not gonna approve for you to build in our
Well-
city anymore.
And I don't know, maybe we can get some clarity on this one, Royce, but if we've got the same people doing the same work and we know that we've had problems with them in the past, if they come forward again, then we can say, well, here's our
They're on our blacklist.
extenuating circumstances where we need to bump it out an extra 6 months. Because
I don't know if 6 months is enough. I want 3 years.
But we were
Well,
trying to do 3
we
years.
we used to be able to do 2, and then they bumped it clear back to 1, and we didn't have,
1's not enough time.
no, it isn't.
1's not enough time.
But that's the state legislature doing what
Did
they
you
do
ask
best.
them to come and fix the potholes?
There's been a couple that I've asked and they've come back, but I don't know that it's gonna be the same, you know, there's issues and I don't know.
I almost hate spending money to pave down Elk Ridge Drive, because that whole center of the road is starting to settle.
The center of the road?
Well, there's a new water line put in.
So we pave it, spend a lot of money on paving, and then it just keeps going. Pretty soon we'll have a little dip in there, and every cross section will be.
All your laterals.
So what was
I guess
done
you
wrong
don't
the
do anything
first
about
time?
it, but
Why?
get better shocks. Stupid. You can't do anything about it. I'd like to do something about it. I don't know what to do. I think it's a joke for our city to have to deal with it.
Well, we're not the only one in that boat.
I know, yeah.
And when they pushed it through, this is what Mike told me at that point. I mean, he goes, well, it isn't fair for us to hold developers in St. George who don't have to deal with the weather like you guys do to the same standards.
Why not?
They said, well, you know, down there, they don't have the freeze-thaw cycle, and they don't have this, that, and the other. And
Well, then you know what the state needs to do?
they need to,
They need to put a big pot of money away for cities to claim when their developers that they stick up for in all their lobbying, right, get off scot-free.
well, there's a couple of
Let's have a
lobbying groups
discussion
that-
with Roberts and
Yeah,
McKell and Deidre on this.
we can. And I can tell you, I've had a very strong conversation with Deidre about this and with Mark. And they're like, oh, yeah, you have any idea how much power the builders and the realtors and the developers have?
Oh, yeah.
No kidding. Why
They
did
pretty much
fire-
control the
They're all your
legislature.
legislatures.
So,
That's all.
I just don't know if they're still building the city,
Frustrating.
why you don't have a come to Jesus with them. I'll have it if
You
you
know,
want.
some cities do, like, they require third-party inspectors to, you know, verify compaction and,
Well, we get that.
no,
They
Yeah,
have to do
provide that, right?
Yeah.
so when we have a pothole failure and it doesn't meet compaction, we can't go back to the guy checking it?
That's true.
I don't know.
I mean, you go back to the engineer, but you know what I mean, if something goes wrong on that, right?
well, they're pretty good at washing their hands even on that.
Outside of the window, it's hard to do.
Yeah. Because we've been there before with
Yeah.
engineering firms. I mean, you go down to Loafer Canyon and you had all the problems with the failures and settling and everything so on. And they said, no, not our problem. We did our job.
I mean, and to some extent, you can kind of see that a little bit because other people do drive on the roads, other people do, you know what I'm saying? So like, at some point, it's not all their responsibility, but if it's done right the first time, you shouldn't be having potholes going in the middle of the road, right?
But you know, on the other side of Elk Ridge Drive, right, where they tore that piece of asphalt out and they filled it in and just left it gravel and it's sinking again, right? How long are they gonna, I mean, they cover that over with asphalt, right? And then they say, okay, as long as it doesn't sink within a year. And I know darn well that that whole area is probably done in a crappy way.
It won't be the first one to go.
Won't be the first one. I just don't know how to get a better product.
So
Well,
the
then
weight
I'm-
limit on some of these trucks going all the dirt and stuff? messing with the roads?
No, I mean, the road should be able to handle
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It should.
They should, but
But then, and then we go back to the same thing, we don't have the money to employ someone to have them stand there and watch. I mean, that's what UDOT does, all
Yeah,
their
you can
projects.
babysit.
They babysit everything.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Notice we have them do it, you just have the fox watching the hen house.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know.
Well, I know what we're doing right now, and it stinks, 'cause it's costing us money. City.
I mean, you can get on Facebook, shame them. I'm sorry, I didn't know myself.
Well, have that conversation with our reps.
It's not gonna
Something
do
needs to
anything.
change, well, but
Well,
if you don't say anything, then it can't.
No, you're right, but
they'd probably like to
it
hear
boils
from
down to who
someone
has the
other-
most money, and it's not,
Yeah.
It's not the city, that's for sure.
exactly.
But
Well, I haven't chatted with Mark for a while, I need to do that. Okay,
Okay.
you can dismiss us if you'd like.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
2 seconds.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody object? We're done.
But I do have a question to whoever.
Can't say anything.
I'm saying it. On the way down from Elkridge Drive where the horses used to be, what are they leveling that ground for? I've been asked that, like, I'm starting to
It's
realize.
a staging area so that they can enclose the canal.
That's what my husband thought it was, but no, but.
Go look at the
Someone
script.
told me that they're doing a cul-de-sac right there.
No, well,
School.
they are,
Yeah.
eventually.
They will.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
That's scheduled to be developed.
Yeah, eventually.
I was starting to realize that they're building a house there.
Oh.
And they-
Was it CUP?
They've already started up there.
Yeah, it started in Basin. Over there, right where.
They started at the west end.
Hey, Mayor.
Down that-
He'd like to ask you a quick question.
Sure.
at the roof club.
Come on up.
This is the young man that we allocated the money for.
No.
No, come on up. Yeah. We're technically done, so you can just let us go ahead and ask away.
Is there a chance we could build like a skate park in Elkridge?
A skate park? You know what? I thought that would be an awesome idea to build a skate park. It's like Lehigh or somebody over there, they have the most awesome skate park.
Orem has a good one.
Orem has a good one? I'd love to do one. I don't know how to come up with the money to do it, because they're expensive. Right?
My parents had an idea, I forgot what it was, but
Have your parents come and
Yeah, get a
bring it to us?
proposal,
Yeah.
bring it to us.
We could get some way to finance it and work through that. I'd love to see a skate park, because I think young'uns like you would love to be out on a skate park, wouldn't you?
We'd rather that than
We'd rather have
you
you be
sitting
doing
home
those
on your
kind of things
electronics.
than.
I mean, that's fun too. No.
Yeah,
In the
but
streets.
that's a
I
good
think parents are in
question.
the streets, as long as they're outside doing something other than sitting on their electronics.
That's a good
Sometimes
question.
they want to sit on their phone.
I'm sure your conversation is going to cost with any of us.
Mayor,
Oh,
this is Jonathan Peterson, Stacy Peters is his mom.
oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Do that, get a proposal together for them?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do some research, find out maybe some costs and how you would propose fundraising or something that way.
Just have
Maybe an
this,
Eagle project.
call one of those. I'm not gonna go down that path.
Some of your friends
Maybe Eagle
together.
project.
Oh,
Sure you have friends that are wanting something like that too, right?
Yeah.
They'll come work together.
yeah.